Hey, welcome back to the Confidad podcast. My name is Dan Tinquist, your host. So glad you chose to join us today. We'll begin this episode like we do every single one with our fatherhood mindset. Say it out loud with me. I'm the only one who can fulfill the father role I have, so I choose to do it well. I get to show up well for my kids. Imperfection is reality. Ownership is a choice. Today is brand new, so is tomorrow. I'm wholly loved, so I will love wholly. Today in our equipping section, I want to talk to you about this deep question that many of us ask at some point or another in our fatherhood journey. At some point, if you haven't yet, you likely will encounter this question. And it comes in the midst of hardship. It comes in the midst of what some philosophers or theologians might call the dark night of the soul. And here is the question. Am I the right one for the job? And with that job being parenting your kids. Have you ever thought that? Have you ever asked that question before? Like, it's so difficult right now. I don't know where to turn. I don't know how to move forward. I don't know what the future holds. And I'm really wondering and doubting that I'm the right person for the job. They say there's this documentary called The Work, and it is following prisoners around in this deep heart work that they're doing with I believe it's either a psychologist or a therapist. And they're helping these inmates process the trauma they're carrying, the lies that they're carrying, and what is behind their choice to break the law and that got them put in prison. Many of these men were either murderers, rapists, drug dealers, like kind of the quote unquote worst of the worst at this prison. If you haven't seen the documentary, The Work, I highly encourage you to check it out. I'll drop a link to it in the show notes so you can check it out for yourself. But here's what happens throughout the documentary. Many of these men begin to unpack the fact that their dad was either absent or abusive. And so the dads that were absent in these inmates' lives, I have to believe, asked the question, am I the right one for the job? And came to the conclusion that the answer was no. And not only in this documentary, but maybe you know people in your life who didn't have a dad present in their lives by his own choice, the father's own choice, who probably came to this question at one point or another and decided that he wasn't actually the right one for the job and that his kids were better off without him. And this is a hard, heavy thing, right? There's many different issues that can surround this choice, whether it be addiction or their own trauma, abuse in their own lives. And so I'm not saying this is a light choice, and I'm not trying to dismiss these fathers' choices to do that. But what I am trying to help you conclude is when you have that question pop up in your life, without a doubt, the answer needs to be yes, I am the right one for the job. And here's how I know. There's no one else in this world that can fulfill the fatherhood role that you embody right now. Maybe you're bio dad. Maybe you're stepdad. Maybe you're adoptive dad. Maybe you're currently a foster dad. Maybe you're a spiritual father. The reality is there's no one else in this world that is you. In the words of the great Oscar Wilde, be yourself, everyone else is already taken. So let's spin that a little bit and say, be your kid's dad. Be the best dad that your kids need. Because when you ask this question, am I really the one for the job? Am I really cut out for this? I mean, maybe the answer is you don't feel ready. And that's why you're asking the question. Maybe you don't know where to turn, and maybe it feels like they'd be better off without me. There are several dads in the history of humanity who have come to that conclusion and said, my kids are better off without me. And yet I've never encountered someone who said, I'm so glad my dad deserted us. I'm so glad that it happened. Now, like I said, this is a complex issue. Abuse and neglect and trauma and all of those things can play a part in this conversation. But for you right now to ask the question, am I the one for the job? The answer ought to be yes. And where are you growing? How are you becoming more and more the one that is fit for the role? Because there's no such thing as a perfect parent. There's no such thing as a dad that always gets it right. But is there such a thing as a dad that is committed to a process of growth, committed to becoming the dad their kids need more and more each day, 1% marginal improvement every day? There is such a thing. And those are the dads that are inspiring their kids for greatness, inspiring their kids to take risks, to fail, to be the safe place. They're emotionally intelligent. They have emotional regulation. They have dreams and visions and understanding that some days are hard and some days are great. And they're with their kids in the thick of it, in life. So, may we not just turn internally and ask this question, am I the right one for the job? And get so self-focused that we start to kind of eat away at our confidence and eat away at any sort of like clear path forward. Doubt can be a destroyer when you're asking the question, am I the right guy for the job? The answer is yeah. Your kids need you. They need you to show up, not just at work and provide financially for them. That's a great, important thing. But they also need you to show up physically in their lives, to be in the room with them, fully present, like we talked about in the other episode about putting your phone away and being fully present. They need you to show up for them in that. They need you to show what does it look like to be a man who has healthy emotional intelligence. To understand regulating our emotions is something we learn and grow and model for and with our kids. We can't just tell our kids to apologize to their siblings or to their mother if we're not willing to own our own mistakes and apologize. We cannot tell our kids not to yell at their siblings or yell and break things if we are yelling and breaking things, right? We have to have a healthy standard with little to no hypocrisy, and equipping ourselves and equipping each other in community to become the dad that your kids need. Maybe you're already there. Maybe you feel really confident. Good for you. That's awesome. Some days I feel really good about who I am as a dad. And some days I really struggle. And I'm like, man, I need to work on this. I need to work on X, Y, and Z. And until then, I can't have any sort of expectations on my kids doing well in that area until I am doing well in that area. And so what do? You ask for help. You get the resources and the tools that you need. You hone those things in. You get them under control and you grow, right? Just like in training for any sort of sport or any sort of race, like you have to work on all the different aspects of the game or the skill in order to grow. Fatherhood's no different. We have to work on all the different aspects, whichever one is probably the most glaring area, and say, how do I focus in on here? And if you can't solve that problem yourself, or you don't even know what area you need to work on, that's when community can step in and help you. Community like the Confidad community can help you get to a place of understanding, these are my weak areas, these are my strong areas. My brothers are with me in my weak areas. They help me learn and grow and become the dad my kids need. And guess what? In my strong areas, I'm able to help other dads in this community to become stronger in that. Maybe it's financial literacy. Maybe you're someone who knows finances so well, and there's other dads that need you to step into their lives and help them with that. Maybe you're really emotionally intelligent and you can understand emotions and emotional regulation, and you get all of the biology and the science behind it, and you can help debunk the myths around dads who can't do it. They struggle. They're always yelling. They're always losing their cool. They're always becoming someone they don't want to be around their kids. See, this other myth that we believe is that we can do it on our own. And I'm building Confidad and standing here today telling you, you cannot reach your full potential in fatherhood alone. We're just not built like that. Humans are built for community. So today, let me empower you with this. You are the one for the job. You're the only one that can fulfill the father role that you have. And so choose to do it well today, and choose to join a community and get invested in relationship with other dads who care, who are growing, and it can challenge and hold you accountable to the growth that you need to see realized in your lives. I hope to see you man up, step up to the plate, and start becoming the dad your kids need 1% better every day. Thanks for tuning in today. We'll see you in the next episode.